Good afternoon. Welcome to Lunchtime News. I'm Jackie Wambiru. Our sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. Here are the stories making headlines this hour. Peace efforts are underway along the Kenya-Somalia border following recent deadly clashes in the Elwak area that left 4 people dead and heightened tensions. Community leaders from Kenya and Somalia held a cross-border peace meeting aimed at restoring calm and preventing further violence. The meeting focused on the root cause of the conflict and agreed on urgent steps to prevent further escalation. Key resolutions included an immediate cessation of hostilities, strengthening dialogue-based dispute resolution, and intensified peace awareness campaigns across affected communities. Community leaders also called for joint apprehension of those responsible for the violence.
Elders that came here today agreed that sensitization needs to be done in the communities in Elwak, Somalia specifically, and to make sure that the issues is not repeated, and that to make sure that this conflict will go to be mitigated by community elders in support of the government of Kenya and Somalia.
Wote wameafikiana kwa kudumisha amani, na shida kama hiyo tena ya kuuana na hiyo visanga imeletwa na wahalifu, na upande baina ya Garre na Marehani wamekubaliana kwamba hakuna shida ingine itatokea, na hii jamii yote wawili wamekamatana, wako pamoja kwa kudumisha amani.
Tumeongea juu ya usalama. Tumekubaliana kwamba tumeelewana ili chochote zingine zisitendeke.
A section of global leaders is calling for cooperation in ending rising conflict and inequality and embracing technological change. While at the United Nations office at Nairobi, the leaders termed dialogue as a practical instrument for global stability. Among the speakers was Ambassador Ida Odinga, who advocated for education and cultural exchange for building mutual understanding.
Mitigate risk calls us to action in seemingly simple and profound caution by Professor Wangari Maathai. It is also crystal clear persuasion that human beings are interconnected. What does unity really stand for? It is about the proverbial birds of feather flock together. It is about crossing divides to stand together to the greater good for all of us.
We should champion mutual respect and promote harmonious coexistence of civilizations. Champion putting the people first and cement the foundation of exchanges among civilizations. Champion both heritage and innovation to drive the progress of civilization.
Deputy Inspector General of Administration Police Service Gilbert Masengeli has warned individuals hiring goons to cause chaos across the country of dire consequences. The Deputy Inspector General says investigations into all incidents related to goonism are ongoing, adding that those found culpable will face the full force of the law. At the same time, he was speaking at Navakolo Sub-County Commissioner's grounds in Kakamega County. He challenged multi-security agencies across the country to be proactive in the fight against crime in their respective areas.
Kunsi walifanya hiyo kazi, nataka kuhakikishia polisi wanawafuata na tutawashika, watafikishwa mahakamani. Nataka kutoa onyo kubwa kwamba wale wanaotumia vijana wetu wakeuze nguvu zao kwa kuanza kuharibu vitu za wengine, hatutawasasa. Tutahakikisha hatua imechukuliwa. Everybody has got the right of doing whatever he does, but he should confine within the rule of law. And your right does not suspend other people's right.
In other news, Mombasa County Governor Abdul Somad Nasser has told off his political critics for alleging that he has failed to address the challenges facing the county. Speaking in Kisauni constituency, Mombasa County, Nasir said his administration has put in place strategies to address all the perennial problems in various sectors, including health, by strengthening SHA registration services and chronic land issues by ensuring landowners are issued with title deeds. He reiterated that his government has signed an agreement with the Technical University of Mombasa to establish a medical training school and provide opportunities for students pursuing medical studies in the county.
Sasa kwa sababu imechukua muda kidogo, wengine wamepata title, wengine bado, utasikia watu wanaanza kuinuka na kusema ya kwa huu jamaa alisema ardhi fund. Wewe ulikuwa uko wapi wakati mimi naifikiria kuweza kupata hilo suluhisho? Na sasa nikishatoa hii title deed, nikishazitoa hizi title deed, utasikia kuna na wengine sasa wataanza kuongea na mengine. Kila mwenye kuzungumza endelee kuzungumza. Lile nitaomba mimi ni moja, awe atapata faida katika yale anayoyazungumza.
The Human Resource Management Professionals Examination Board has committed to enhancing professional standards and fostering human capital development. This message took center stage during a human resources stakeholders meeting in Nairobi. The board's CEO, Margaret Gu, underscored the role of human resource professionals in propelling economic growth and national development. She revealed that since the board's inception in 2017, over 4,800 certified human resource professional qualifications have been awarded.
We want to call upon or we spread the gospel to those who have not done CHRP so that we can have a community of practice for all of us. As an examining and certification body, the mandate of HRMPEP extends far beyond the administration and assessments of examinations. We serve as custodians of professional standards, guardians of integrity, and champions of competence.
HRM will continue to champion initiatives that uphold professional excellence, inclusivity, and integrity. We remain committed to working hand in hand with HRMPEP and other stakeholders to ensure that the HR profession continues to grow, evolve, and thrive.
Kenya's permanent representative to the United Nations office at Nairobi and UNEP, Ida Odinga, has urged players in the health sector to uphold professionalism and compassion in their work. Speaking during a graduation ceremony at John Charles Medical Training College in Ruai, Nairobi, Ida urged the graduates to see every patient as more than a diagnosis and to serve with purpose. The institution maintained that it is committed to producing competent healthcare professionals ready to strengthen Kenya's health sector.
The reason as to why I studied medical billing, I am passionate about helping and saving lives.
The healthcare landscape you're entering in is demanding. It will test your knowledge, your endurance, and your humanity. There will be moments of frustrations when resources are inadequate, when systems fail, when the weight of responsibility feels heavier than you anticipated. In those moments, I ask you to remember why you started.
As a healthcare professionals, you are entering a field that demands not only knowledge and technical competence, but also compassion, integrity, and humanity. The skills you have acquired here will enable you to diagnose, treat, and care for patients.
A Kolomani Member of Parliament, Bernard Shinali, has condemned the attack on a school bus ferrying learners at Harambee Market in Matungu, calling for the arrest and prosecution of the attackers. The legislator cautioned political leaders against the emerging culture of sponsoring goons to attack residents. He urged them to instead channel their support towards community development initiatives and charitable causes.
watoto wetu wanatoka kwa michezo wakielekea nyumbani jioni. Goons nao wameingia, wamepiga watoto wadogo wa primary, wamewatoa kwa bus. Hao watu wameonekana kwa kamera wakipiga watoto wadogo, wanawapiga, wanawauliza mnatoka mkutano. Nataka kuuliza commander, regional commander wa Western, county commander wa Kakamega, hao watu wameonekana. Tunataka tusikie kufikia kesho hao watu wako kotini. Na mambo ya gunism kwa matanga, kwa kanisa, kwa barabara, hiyo siyo siasa. Tunataka iishe.
In other news, stakeholders in conservation and tourism are warning that climate change and construction along the coastal strip are heavily threatening the lives of sea turtles in the Lamu archipelago. This is according to an organization formed by members of the Shela community whose economy depends on sea turtle tourism along the beaches. According to the director of the organization, Lamkot Atwa Salim, rising temperatures lead to stronger and more frequent ocean waves, which push seawater farther onto the beaches and disperse sea turtle eggs. The organization have joined calls with fishermen in Lamu, calling on international governments and environmental organizations to find ways to combat climate change in order to save sea turtles, which are at risk of extinction. The residents decry that the decline in sea turtle breeding activities has negatively affected their livelihoods and economy.
Kitu cha kushangaza sana, miezi hii yote mingi hatujakuwa na kiota. Na hizi vyote ndio vimesaidia katika uchumi wetu, kwa sababu tunachukua watalii kwenda kuona vitu kama hizi.
Interfaith religious leaders and scholars have unveiled an initiative aimed at promoting justice, dignity and peaceful coexistence. The leaders say growing cases of tribalism, religious extremism and social injustices continue to threaten unity in communities and learning institutions. Speaking in Limuru, Kiambu County, St. Paul's University Vice-Chancellor Professor Esther Mombo said injustices have become increasingly common, while tribalism and religious extremism continue to divide communities and contribute to unrest in schools. Machakos Jamia Mosque Imam Sheikh Ali Abdullah said the initiative would help Christians and Muslims resolve disputes using teachings from the Bible and the Quran while fostering cohesion among communities.
We are very grateful to God for making us understand that to be faithful, whether it's in Islamic faith or Christian faith or any faith, would not be possible unless we reflect God's attributes of beauty and love and mercy to each other.
Justice is experienced in many forms, whether it is from the homes, it is within our religious spaces, it is in the wider societies. In Kenya today, we talk about schools closing because our children are not at peace.
A section of leaders in Kilifi County has threatened to take the law into their own hands following the invasion of destructive elephants in the area, led by the minority leader of the Senate, who is also the Senator of Kilifi, Stuart Madzayo. The leaders accuse the government of failing to contain the animals even after reporting the matter to the relevant authorities. Now speaking in Datani village in Kaya Fungo Ward, Kaloleni constituency, the leaders said the locals now depend entirely on relief food after their crops were destroyed by the elephants.
Swala la ndovu mstahiki Senator. President, tunamshukuru sana governor, tunamshukuru sana PS, walifanya bidii wakamleta rais. Na haya mambo ya ndovu ilikuwa imefika pahala ambapo kweli alikuwa anamhitaji rais, lakini juzi rais akatangaza kwamba ile Shirango Conservancy iwe registered.
Ni haki gani ama ni sheria gani ndovu wanaweza kutoka huko walikotoka, hawazuiliwi na serikali, wanaingia mpaka wanafika hapa karibu na Datani, wanakula mashamba ya watu, wanakula mahindi ya watu?
The county government of Vihiga has reaffirmed its commitment to nurturing young talent, equipping youth with the skills, resources and opportunities to thrive at an early age. According to the county chief executive committee member in charge of gender, culture, youth, sports and social services, Dr. Ruth Agese, the county is in the process of equipping a recording studio aimed at empowering local artists. Schools across the county are in the meantime gearing up for the upcoming Vihiga County Music Festival, an event set to showcase and celebrate young talent.
We are proceeding to the county festivals where we are confident that we are going to scoop most of the cups.
And what is happening by tomorrow, the programs will be out and even the booklets to show that we have a festival at Kaimosi Girls as from 16th to 22nd.
There is a very big talent among the people in Vihiga. So His Excellency has already organized and we built the hall at Eusiekwe, which is supposed to be made into a studio. And we are actually in the process of equipping the hall for, it's going to be actually our recording studio.
More than 3,000 traders operating a Gakoromoni open-air market in Meru town are set to benefit from a modern market facility being constructed and funded by the national government. Speaking during an inspection tour of the traders' relocation site at Konja area, Meru County Government Secretary David Bario said that the national government has continued to initiate, and implement various development projects across the country. Meru Municipality Board Chairman Kiremi Mogania said preparations are underway at the relocation site to pave the way for the commencement of construction works. Meanwhile, contractors from Meru County have expressed dissatisfaction over the manner in which national government projects are being implemented in the region. According to a local contractor, John Chebere, many contractors from the county have been unsuccessful in securing tenders despite applying for them, alleging that most contracts are being awarded to firms from outside the county.
Leo tuko market yetu ya Gakoromone ambaye market tunajengewa na president wetu after governor wetu kwenda huko na wakaongea na akakubali kumpatia hii soko ya Gakoromone ijengwe iwe ultra modern market.
Naanza na relocation ama pale tutahamishia wafanyikazi ama wanabiashara wetu kwanza, na ndio tumetengeneza na tumeanza. Tutatoa njia mbili, njia ya kuingia kwa soko na njia ya kutoka, kwa sababu wale tunahamisha ni watu kama wanabiashara 3,000.
Sisi tukua contractor hapa Meru tunasangaa. Tunaona kazi na payano kama ili payano loide ile marketi contractor iletwa kutoka nje. Hii soko inajengwa Kianjai, contractor na kutoka nje.
The government has been urged to crack down on counterfeits, mostly in the liquor industry, in an effort to return sanity to the industry. This clarion call was made during the launch of a national consumer promotion under a local liquor brand, with the company giving back to society over 35 million shillings worth of prizes to its consumers. They called on other entities to follow suit and help those underprivileged in society. The company further lauded the president for promising to fight illicit second-generation liquor, even as they pledged their support to reduce 60% counterfeit liquor.
Kenya has a very serious counterfeit issue. 60% of the products in this market are actually counterfeit. And as manufacturers, we're doing a lot to try and see how we can work with government and other stakeholders to ensure that this is reduced, because we're very much aware of the impact it has on public health and also the impact it has on our businesses.
Kuna kitu tunaita kwa kizungu value for money. Unataka kitu ambacho uko sure, kitu ambacho ni legit, kitu ambacho ni quality. Na kwenye kampuni ya Kwal, kitu ya kwanza tunaangalia ni quality ya product. hiyo product imetengenezwa aje, tumeweka minajili gani ku make sure hii product ni legitimate.
We are celebrating the Kenyan, hustling generation, and we are saying thank you for standing with the brands. We're looking to celebrate real moments, real wins, real opportunities for consumers to actually win amazing prizes.
Moving on, the residents of Isiolo town in Isiolo County, especially the women, now have every reason to smile after seeing the fruits of a training on investment that they undertook. The training provided by the Action Aid Organization has seen the locals, who were mostly livestock farmers, engage in vegetable and poultry farming that have greatly boosted their incomes.
Tukaona kuliko tufanye hiyo mambo ya PFS, tukaweza kuunda kikundi ambayo tuliweza kuungana na kikundi ya chini na ya juu, tukaform VSLA ambayo tuna save 100 to 500 kulingana na uwezo wa mtu, na hiyo iliweza kusaidia kina mama, kwa sababu hapo ukikuja chama unachukua loan yako kidogo, una save for 4 weeks, wiki 4 tunakopa, alafu unachukua hiyo pesa. Mimi kama mama nachukua naenda na peleka school fees, wengine wanaweka kwa biashara zao, ndio imeweza kutuendeleza.
Nyasi ilikuwa changamoto pia, waizi walikuwa wengi sana, wanakuja wanasomba mali, tunabaki hivyo. Sisi kama wamama tukarudi kwa jamii, tukawaongelesha. Saa hii tufugi mifugo nyingi, tumerudi kufuga ile ya maziwa. Kama wamama, unajua ile wakati ya mbele maziwa ilikuwa tunakamua, maziwa ilikuwa inaenda waste kwa sababu hatukuwa tunajua umuhimu wa VSLA. Wakati tuliingia katika VSLA, sasa tumejua umuhimu ya hiyo pesa yetu. Tukienda kuuza maziwa, tunakuja na tunaeka hiyo shares kwa VSLA.
A family is seeking help to find their 54-year-old kin, Esther Werimo Kege, who has been missing since Wednesday, June 10th. Esther, a lawyer and legal officer at Kenya Forest Service headquarters along Kiambu Road, was last seen at around 3 p.m. at Senate Hotel in Juja Town. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a black dress, black shoes, and had braided her hair. According to her family, Esther has been undergoing treatment for depression. Anyone with information on her whereabouts is urged to report to Juja Police Station or the nearest police station, or contact the family through the following numbers on your screen: 0722 809 878, 0719 483 323, or 0722 791 139, or 0722 510 102, or 0700 012 803. Still on education matters, institutions of higher learning have been challenged to invest in research infrastructure in the wake of emerging global challenges that require the strengthening of research and innovation. This was the clarion call during the 3rd International Multidisciplinary Conference held at Kisii University in Kisii County, attended by scholars and researchers. Kisii University Vice-Chancellor Professor Ogechi emphasized the need for greater investment in research institutions, particularly in the area of emerging and mutating diseases. Among the challenges identified during the meeting facing researchers were the acquisition of modern equipment, access to laboratory facilities, and reagents required for quality research.
As we evolve, more diseases are coming up. I know we are talking about Ebola. What we are dealing with right now is another variant. And as the variants come up, our researchers are involved. If we work together and with our collaborators who have better equipment, we should be able to get there. So there is a response, but as we said, some of these things keep on evolving. That does not mean that there are no challenges, particularly when you are dealing with equipment for research, especially in the natural sciences, where you need labs, where you need serious reagents. If you don't have good labs, it is possible to do research and come up with findings that are not doing well.
Well, that report brings us to our first break here on Lunchtime News. Don't go too far, we still have more news coming up. Let's take that break.
Vinicius Jr. He's left complaining to the referee.
I don't think it was a foul on Vinicius Jr. originally. Douglas Santos had made it really good overlap and run down that left side if he had to just played him in.
Dial *977# or download my Power app to access Kenya Power services fast and easy. Kenya Power, Nuru ya Kenya.
The Salaries and Remuneration Commission, in collaboration with stakeholders, will host the National Productivity and Performance Conference to be held from 17 to 19 June 2026 at the Kenya School of Government in Nairobi under the theme Productivity for Fiscal Sustainability and Efficient Service Delivery. The conference will set the direction for a future where Kenya's public service is productive, efficient, and fiscally sustainable.
All of a sudden, Brazil looking dangerous, and they've got the levelling goal. Oh, it's a moment of magic.
Inside on his right foot. Vinicius Jr. does exactly that. And there was only one place that ball was going to land. It's in that far right corner of the net. What an excellent finish to bring Brazil back into this tie. 1-1.
Vinicius Jr. with his 10th international goal. What a strike it was.
I am Chef Ombachi. Today I'm cooking ugali na Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Boil water, done. Add Ajab Premium Maize Meal. Done. Grab your mwiko and stir the mixture. Enjoy the amazing aroma. Enjoy incredibly soft ugali. Done. Ingia ligi ya kipekee na Ajab Premium Maize Meal.
And now let's take a look at business news. Absa Bank Kenya has designed a financial model that connects home buyers to developments earlier in the construction cycle to address persistent funding gaps in the housing sector. Absa Bank Kenya Managing Executive for Corporate and Investment Banking, James Agin, says the housing challenge in Kenya is how homes are financed, delivered and linked to prospective buyers. Under the initiative, qualifying customers will access to mortgage pre-assessments during construction, preferential financing terms, and streamlined legal and valuation processes to ease home ownership.
This solution is actually for all aspiring homeowners purchasing either ongoing properties, which as we all know are marketed as off-plan developments, or new projects from all developers who have signed up these partnerships with Absa. So that's something we're very, very excited about and looking forward to support the ecosystem, make this a reality.
Crude oil prices have fallen after Pakistan, which has been mediating an end to the US-Iran war, announced a framework deal that President Donald Trump said would see the reopening of the key Strait of Hormuz shipping route. Brent crude and global oil benchmark was 4.3% lower at $83.55 per barrel. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Pakistan's Prime Minister says an official signing ceremony will be held on Friday, 19th June in Switzerland. Iran's Deputy Foreign Minister confirmed in a phone call on state TV that a deal with the US had been finalized, while Trump posted on social media, "Let the oil flow." The Strait of Hormuz has been effectively closed since shortly after the US and Israel launched airstrikes on Iran on 28 February. Brent crude, which was trading at around $70 per barrel before the conflict started, peaked at about $120 per barrel during the war. After the conflict began, Tehran threatened to attack vessels using the crucial waterway through which around 20% of the world's oil and liquefied natural gas normally passes. Meanwhile, Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency has introduced restrictions on aircraft refueling for foreign airlines at several airports across the country after overseas carriers increasingly purchased excess fuel to reduce operating costs. Russia's Federal Air Transport Agency says foreign airlines are now required to coordinate fuel purchases with local suppliers, and refueling volumes must not exceed the amount necessarily for the planned flight. In a bid to reduce operating expenses, foreign carriers are refueling at Russian airports in volumes far exceeding their actual flight needs, which is impacting fuel supply planning and logistics, said the agency. Finally, a cyber attack caused system outages at 4 major Iranian banks on Saturday, including Bank Melli Iran, Bank Sederat Iran, and Bank Tejarat. Customers at the affected banks reported disruptions to mobile and online banking, ATMs, point-of-sale terminals, and some card services. A detailed technical investigation has confirmed that the outages were caused by a limited cyber attack. The bank said their technical teams took precautionary measures as soon as the anomaly was detected to protect customer data and banking infrastructure.
We take you to the foothills of Mount Kenya, where visitors are captivated by sweeping views of Kenya's highest peak, where crystal clear streams can be seen winding down forested slopes beneath the mountain's rugged skyline, as highlighted on Magical Scenes.
Mount Kenya is the highest mountain in Kenya and the second highest peak in Africa. Now picture this: waking up to such breathtaking view with the snow-capped Lenana summit in the morning sun as you sip your steaming cup of Kenyan tea.
In most cases, just drive in. So at the Port Koje, as you alight from the vehicle, the first view you see, for instance, if you're coming during a sunny season, the first view you see is of the peak of Mount Kenya, majestic in all its awe. So you find that most guests, as soon as they alight and they're greeted by the doorman, they'll immediately come towards the observation deck to take pictures of not just the lawns, but also the view of the peak of Mount Kenya, which is quite outstanding.
I'm seeing the marina up close.
For those who are not into hiking, the site is magical. Each glance towards the mountain is a reminder of nature's beauty.
There's about a 1.35 kilometer track on the property. You can go for morning runs in the morning. And we are at 7,000 feet above sea level in terms of altitude. That's a bit challenging. So a jog in the morning would really wake your system up. And the air here is purer, if I may say that, given the altitude as well. So it's a way of engaging or conditioning your system in a different way. Okay. No, absolutely.
Bird watchers would find themselves in paradise as the area is home to many bird species.
We're looking at well over 100 species of birds on the property, from hooded eagle, hooded vultures to Egyptian wild geese, going all the way to peacocks that will always dominate. When you walk in, you've heard of peacocks, so you want to see them. Now they're off the mating season, so most of them are in hiding. But in about a month or so, they'll have grown their hair, the feathers back, so then you'll see them in the main areas. Apart from that, we've got marabou stocks. 2% of the birds we have are domesticated, like the domesticated goose and the peacocks. The rest of them are all wild.
And as the sun sets, the cool mountain air ushers in the perfect mood for a bonfire. Bonfire experience on the foot of Mount Kenya, the highest mountain in Kenya, is more than just a gathering. It is actually one of our key highlights during the Mount Kenya circuit tour. Now, picture this, having such an ambience with people who matter to you in the middle of the jungle, reflecting about the things you've always wanted to reflect on while in such an environment. Now, that is magical sense. So whether you are seeking adventure or tranquility, consider discovering the beauty at the foot of Mount Kenya. Mchuma Udim, Magical Sense in Nanyuki.
And in the sports arena, the Masai Mara Tuskers had two reasons to celebrate as they won the regular and over 40 divisions of the South Indian Premier League after victories over Coast Super Kings in a final played on Sunday at the Ruaraka Sports Club in Nairobi.
Mara Tuskers won the toss and opted to bat and scored 161 runs in the allotted 20 overs. In reply, the Coast Super Kings, who needed 162 runs to win, provided a late surge and saw them require 3 runs from the last ball in the match. An attempt for a boundary was stopped, and while attempting to get 2 runs to force a super over, Super Kings were run out, handing the Tuskers a dramatic 1-run victory.
Oh, it absolutely feels great because almost 2-3 months of practice, hard work that has been put behind the scenes. So everything, when I was actually in the last over, I could see everything coming to me, and it was, as you have seen, it was a very interesting game that went to the wire.
We have been practicing for a long time, 2-3 months preparation, and congratulations to all the teams, and we are very happy that we won both teams.
Over 40 category, Masai Mara Tuskers scored 203 runs from the loss of 5 wickets and restricted the Coast Super Kings to 183 for 5 to clinch a 20-run victory. The SIPL is an annual tournament that forms part of the South Indian Cultural Society's social activities.
Youth in Malindi sub-county, Kilifi County are increasingly turning to boxing as a sport of choice, with stakeholders now calling for greater government investment to develop infrastructure and turn the sport into a source of income and opportunity. Stakeholders note that the sport could help steer young people away from drug abuse and crime. The Kenya Boxing Federation, alongside local partners, has begun organizing monthly tournaments aimed at promoting boxing and identifying new talent in the region. Boxing coach Samson Mzungu from Mutamu says the competitions have been well received by young upcoming boxers, but warned that lack of sponsorship continues to derail many promising careers. He says many trained youth eventually drop out due to limited opportunities, with some turning to insecurity-related activities.
Mimi nataka kuona vijana wamebadilika na wamebadilisha hii talenti yao kuwa ajira. hii ndio njia ambayo vijana wanaweza kaa wakawata kwa busy, kwa sababu tukiangalia mihadarati, wengi wa vijana huwa ni wakati wa jioni, na hiyo time ya jioni instead aende kwa mihadarati, si tunamchukua tunaenda naye session, tunampigisha boxing, mwisho wa siku akija kipando ulingoni anapata at least kitu ambacho atakuwa ni risk yake.
Lazima tutembee kwa watu, tuwaelezee boxing ni sport kama sport ingine, na boxing sana sana ina nini sana kwa discipline, kwa mambo ya discipline.
Boxing ni more of yani discipline, it requires very hard discipline and focus na kila kitu. So hoping inshallah tutagrow zaidi, tutatoa vijana wetu kule Malindi from the dungeons of filthy crime.
Kikambwani Tigers and Kivi Starlets emerged champions of the Captain Irene Danu's soccer tournament after defeating Malingana Stars and Kakuyuni Starlets respectively in thrilling finals played at Kangundo Sub-County. Now Kikambwani Tigers were crowned men's champions following 3-0 victory over Malingana Snipers FC after producing a clinical display to secure the title. Meanwhile, in the women's final, Kivi Starlets edged Kakuyuni Original Starlets 5-4 on penalties after a goalless draw in regulation time. The tournament concluded with celebrations for the two winning teams, highlighting continued growth of grassroots football. Well, that brings us to the end of our bulletin this afternoon. Thank you for watching. Our sign language interpreter is Susan Thuku. I'm Jackie Wambiru. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.